But from what I know, a lot of Black people don't get the flu shot. Can I say that on here? I don't know. It's like he wants to be able to fix it, and I appreciate that so much about him. Sometimes I'm like, just let me suffer. And right now, I'm honestly having crazy food aversions. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aurelia Michael Holmgren. And for some of you, you'll know that this is a different style of vlogging that I am testing out. And for those that are new, welcome. You have no idea. So originally I started vlogging during my bodybuilding years, which was about 3 to 4 years. And now I've transitioned into creating content about motherhood. So I am currently 33 weeks pregnant and I am 40 years old. And I wanted to do a video to talk about how I really feel in this moment, mentally, physically, emotionally, and just on a practical level, how I'm feeling. So I took some notes, got my good trusty iPad here, and, connect with me, comment below, let me know if you've experienced any of this, if you're experiencing it, if motherhood is something you're looking towards or something you're in the thick of. I want to connect with you and continue this journey as we head toward the last 7 weeks. All right, so let's start with the mental. My energy is still pretty good, I would say, considering I only have a few weeks left. I have not been the greatest with my food. I will be 100% honest. So I think whenever I am feeling those dips in energy, it is due to my own self-sabotaging. For example, and I didn't plan on sharing this, but yesterday morning, my diet consisted of candy corn, Captain Crunch, and Cheez-Its. And that's because I decided it was a good idea to go to the Dollar Tree for some paper towels and didn't have breakfast. So whenever I am feeling those dips in energy, it's usually either because I haven't taken a nap or I've been eating poorly. My memory has been pretty good, but my attention span, not so much. So I use an app called Marco Polo. I don't know if anyone else uses it, but I'm on there all day, every day, because a lot of my friends live in New York, Texas, Seattle, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm finding now that even when people send me a minute-long video, I have to watch it at least 2 or 3 times. And God forbid they send me something over 5 minutes. I'll watch 2.5, and then I'll come back the next day, restart the 2.5, so I feel like I have a head start, and then finish it. Otherwise, everything they're saying is completely not making any sense in my brain. So I found that my attention span has just slowly started to dwindle. But the things that have still been keeping me grounded is definitely my yoga, my chiropractor. Every morning I've been getting up. This is a whole other story, but I've been getting up for 2 hours in the morning between 3 and 5. So waking up at 3, 4, or 5 generally for 2 hours. And in the beginning, I do my gratitude journal, which includes 3 things that I'm grateful for, what would make the day great, and a personal positive affirmation, followed by a book I've been reading called The Pivot Year by Brianna West, which just has short excerpts for something for you to think about throughout the day. And then I usually go into my Bible reading. So my mornings have been really, really nice. And then I don't feel, sometimes I feel obligated as soon as I wake up at 8 or 9 I feel torn between getting into my spiritual work and then getting moving, getting to the gym. So now that I've been doing it between 3 and 5, I've been able to get up in the morning a bit more guilt-free about how I'm spending my time and my energy. There's been a big focus on balancing and prioritizing. I realize I'm at the state where everything can't get done every day. So my best friend and TJ and I, we have a shared note where we do 6 things a day. But I'm starting to notice that it's starting to be more like 3 to 4 things a day, max. Even if I say, okay, I'm going to do these 4 errands, I usually get 2 done and then I'm out. So I've been learning ahead of time every Sunday when I'm normally planning my schedule for the week. I'm already thinking about energy levels, how I need to prioritize. Does this really need to be done this week, or does this really need to be done today? And the same thing goes for events. So this week, my alumni association, I'm the president of the LA chapter of my alumni association. We have events. We had an event last night. We have technically 2 events back to back tonight. We have our tailgate tomorrow morning, and then we have our big game tomorrow afternoon. I had to bow out after tonight. That's about all the social I can do. I'm also feeling a little bit under the weather, if you can't tell. I'm a little bit under the weather, and I want to make sure I'm not trying to get sick in these last few weeks. I just got my flu shot, which is a whole another emotional thing because I don't know if it's a stereotypical thing or just how it is in my household. But from what I know, a lot of Black people don't get the flu shot. Can I say that on here? I don't know. Um, but this is my first time getting it and it hasn't fully taken effect yet. So I just want to make sure I'm doing everything to stay safe. So I have to create these boundaries and just kind of prioritize. Speaking of boundaries, I have been having this conversation with a lot of people about proximity and boundaries to people. So when I grew up, my mom did not have the support. If you've ever watched my video of my parents talking about becoming grandparents and their experience in parenthood, if you haven't, I'll drop it in the description below. You could even just tell from their demeanors. Like my mom is generally very bubbly, very energetic, but when she talks about her pregnancy, when she talks about her upbringing, there was a lot of trauma. And so my mom clung to her friends like family. They were family. And so everybody's my auntie and uncle. Doesn't matter how long it's been since I've talked to them or the nature of our relationship now. And because that's not my situation, I want to be really clear with my daughter on boundaries and proximity, introducing them as Mr., Mrs., or by their first name, as opposed to calling everybody auntie and uncle, or people honestly feeling entitled to be called auntie and uncle because of their past relationship with me and kind of confusing quantity of time with quality of time. And I want her to call people auntie and uncle who are around, who are active. Doesn't mean they have to live in the same state because most of my friends don't, but that they know these are the people that are actually invested not just in my life, but in hers. So my mom and I have kind of been not butting heads, but we've been having these conversations about, people feeling like they can just come visit when they want or not asking certain questions and clarifying. And I think she's now recognizing the woman that she's created. And I'm going to question and I'm going to respectfully fight back if it's something that I really do believe in. And last thing is information overload. So as you go through each trimester, I found like you get different sets of information kind of thrown at you. So when you first become pregnant, your friends are sending you all these reels about pregnancy and this and that. And then as you go into your second trimester, you're getting certain things. And now in this trimester, it's all about like, are you scared? What do you think about the birth? People sending, newborn information. And even like today, my mother-in-law watches this. She had sent me a message about, the cost of birth and how to kind of get around it. And I even said to her, like, according to my knowledge and my insurance, it should be covered, but I'll keep this on the back burner. But it's something I can't read right now. Like I have to stay focused. I have to stay in the moment. Otherwise, I'm just constantly thinking about things outside of what needs to happen right now, which is prioritizing my business so that it can be set up to run during my maternity leave and setting up our nursery, like just getting things in order. Everything else has had to be pushed to the side. So I'm even making sure if I'm watching a YouTube video around pregnancy or it has to be something that's really relevant to what's happening right now. Otherwise, I can't be bothered. So now let's talk about the physical. So I was kind of talking more about mental energy, which is affected by my food, but obviously physical energy as well. Just like how I'm spending my time, I'm feeling in my body as it is changing rapidly. I think I'm about 30 to 31 pounds up now, heavier than I've probably ever been. Well, not probably, heavier than I've ever been, and how I'm adjusting with that. So, we do have a gym downstairs. This is our new building. It just opened in June. And part of why I wanted to live in this building, other than the washer, dryer, and brand new everything, is because I wanted to have a gym in the building for the days where I didn't want to drive to the gym. I had been told or had seen through Yelp that the gym nearby had really bad ratings. So I just never went by. One day I decided to take a 3-minute walk. They sent me on a tour and I signed up right away. I actually switched from my old gym because now I have two options. If I really don't want to get anywhere, I'll just go straight downstairs, particularly for cardio, if I'm just doing cardio, because I can get upper body done pretty decently down there. But because we only have one rack, If people don't re-rack their stuff, I'm not spending my energy. I'm not hurting my back trying to move stuff around. So if I come down and it's looking crazy, I'll take the 3-minute walk and go to the new gym. So that's been really helpful. I haven't really been taking naps, but I haven't really felt the need to. But if I do, if anything, I'll just lay down. Pepper and I'll just, he's laying next to me right now. Pepper and I'll just lay down and, just take 30 minutes to get away from the phone or calls or YouTubes or anything else like that. And then the most recent thing that I've been testing out, I have this theory, and it might be crazy, I don't know, but it's working for me, is that a lot of women also deal with sleep deprivation because they go from trying to get as much uninterrupted sleep as they can to the day after that baby is born, that sleep is completely thrown off. So what I've been testing is allowing myself, this first week, is allowing myself to wake up when my body wakes up, usually to go to the bathroom, which is around between 3 and 5 a.m. And then I stay up for 2 hours. I clean our office, or I do work, or I read my Bible, or I watch a sermon. I try to get ahead of my schedule that day. And so far, it's been working. And my main thing is to try to work even under inadequate sleep. So, my next goal for next week will be to wake up twice in the night and stay up for 1 hour each, which is more realistic for when you have a child. It's going to take about an hour between the changing and the feeding and the trying to get back to bed. Is this taking away the sleep overall that I should be getting? I don't know. We'll find out. But I just have this theory and I'm going with it, and we'll see what happens. I'm generally around the weight gain and the body changes. I think I have come to a place of peace with my body, especially because I felt like in the beginning I was growing out more in a bloat, and now everything is going forward, which some people call like a belly only pregnancy. For context, I am probably 5 foot, but I have 5'2" on my resume. So I don't have much room, and I have a pretty short torso. Not the shortest, but I have a pretty short torso. So the only place for it really to go is out. And so I have just been making sure that, I didn't want to put on more than 30 to 35 pounds for me personally. And right now, I'm honestly having crazy food aversions. Like, I don't want food. I don't want snacks. Even yesterday, when I had all that junk food, it was okay. When we get the best ice cream, our favorite ice cream out here, it was okay. Nothing is really doing it for me. And so I'm recognizing that this is just a season where I'm going back to my bodybuilding, and I'm force feeding myself to make sure that baby girl is getting the nutrients that she needs. I, woke up this morning and was like, okay, let's get back to it. That's how the same thing in bodybuilding. You fall off the wagon, you don't think about it all day or cry about it. You just get back on it. So I've come to accept how my body looks. I love showing my belly off when I'm at the gym. People comment, people, give me my props. And that's part of why I wanted to join a gym close by. It's just when you work out alone sometimes, or you're in a gym by yourself, it's just different than when you have people around, and that energy that you can feel, that energetic exchange as you're watching people put their goals as a priority in the forefront. And hopefully I'm able to inspire women that are in the gym, because I've only seen one pregnant woman in the gym ever. And she was also not a person of color. So just showing more representation as I'm also focusing on my physical. Some of the other body changes, sometimes I get little dry patches. They're nothing crazy. And even when I went to my OB, she was like, wow, you look very hydrated, particularly on my stomach. My best friend Britt put me onto this incredible oil. If I remember, I'll put it on here, but I probably won't remember. It has been so helpful. It's supposed to also help with preventing stretch marks. I don't know what my body will look like, on the way back, but I'm hoping to have minimal stretch marks. Just there have been little bumps that come and go, but I think that's just a hormone thing. So just also making sure I'm getting adequate water, because I want to make sure that my skin stays clear and stays hydrated, because it's so easy, especially out in California, for our skin to get dry. And overall, physically, I'm feeling really good. I don't have as many clothes as I need. Yesterday, I finally bit the bullet and got like 2 shirts, a dress, and 2 sweatpants. I really want to keep my maternity size clothing to a minimum, because I have no intention of going back to this weight. So I don't want to buy an entirely new wardrobe that I know I'm not going to utilize after the next 2 months. Okay, so let's dive into the emotional side of it. Overall, I feel very calm. This is the time where almost every other day someone asks, like, how are you feeling about the birth? Are you scared? What method are you doing? So your girl has planned since day one that she had even thought about having a kid to get an epidural. So that's like not even a topic of conversation. But when people ask if I'm scared, I'm like, I think I was more scared when I wasn't pregnant or even before we were trying, because I felt like once we started trying and once it happened, it was like there's only two ways for her to come out. So it's kind of hard to fear something that is so unpredictable. You don't know the process, but you know the outcome. And so I just stay focused on the outcome, is that there'll be a baby girl. It could be the easiest delivery in the history of the world, or it could be the most traumatizing. But for me to focus on that now, I feel like can be a self-fulfilling prophecy where if I get so scared, I get tense, I can't push properly, like it's all starts to become connected. So right now I'm at peace. I'm not really thinking about the delivery day outside of like, what do I want to pack in my bag? Or what are we going to do with Pepper? And how do we introduce him to the baby? Those are kind of the things that I've been focused on. Like, what is the emotional well-being of my dog? My dog has been the the only child for the last 5 years. So what does it look like now that he has to share our energy? So that's really what's more important to me right now, because that day is going to come regardless. There's nothing I can do to stop it. There's nothing I can do to get in the way. There's nothing I can do to alternate. I have choices. This is something I read in a book. Somebody sent me the book Crib Sheet. I don't know who sent it, but thank you. And in it, she says, just remember, you know, birth is out of your control, but you always have choices. And so my doula, Adam, and I created my birth plan. And, it's kind of like when you create plans around God, he's like, funny, here's what you're actually doing. This is just a roadmap, assuming there'll be no traffic, assuming there'll be no accidents. I recognize that part of it is you have to expect the unexpected. And if you get so stuck on one way that you're going to deliver, that is the thing that can probably make or break, your mental when it comes to childbirth. Partnership and friendships. I got to be honest, my husband has been doing the damn thing. Between working, he's been working a lot and really focused on, providing for the family. He is a model, but also he has been getting a lot into real estate photography, and he's in the process of starting to get his real estate license. But just on top of that, he's a fixer. And so when I'm tired or I don't want to eat or my foot hurts, like he wants to be able to fix it. And I appreciate that so much about him. Sometimes I'm like, just let me suffer. But other times I'm like, okay, I need to surrender and allow him to help. He's been very helpful just in the overall cleanliness of the house. He's been more helpful with taking Pepper out and taking care of him. And when I'm napping, just making sure that it's quiet. He's only missed 2 OB appointments, and they were because he was working and because we hadn't had a joint calendar. So we finally bit the bullet and we joined our calendars together, more so with things that like OB appointments and his work schedule, to make sure that they don't conflict. That way we don't have to see each other's all day schedule. His is not that busy, but mine, he would be like, okay, my schedule looks crazy every day. So we used our old email address from when we got married, and we used that on Google Calendar to combine all OB appointments and soon to be pediatric appointments and his job. But overall, he's just been very supportive. He's really excited. He's very confident. It's like in one way he's very confident, and the other way he's like, I feel like I should be reading books or like watching something or figuring out, how to be the best dad. But I have no doubt that he'll be an incredible father. I see how he is with this one that's down here. He loves to play. He loves adventure. He loves family. That's his priority. And not saying that's not mine, but I think in many relationships, there are people who are family driven and there are people who are career driven. And I would say if we had to say who was more than the other, he is definitely more family driven than I am. But I've gotten better. And then with my friendships, it's been very interesting. Like the people who I talked to a lot more before I was pregnant, I'm curious to see how it is once I have the baby. But the people that have really showed up for me, particularly my baby shower committee folks in New York, in New Jersey, in California, like they really made your girl and Adam feel really special. And even our village of people, like I had to add more things to our registry this week because, for instance, my friend Celine, there were like 5 things on the registry and she bought them all up. So then I had to add more stuff because we have one more virtual shower and I had nothing on there for people to purchase. So I'm just really grateful for our village. Like, we don't even have enough space for everything that people have been getting us, but we're finding our ways to make it all work because we're so grateful for everyone and everything that people have been doing, their kind words, their affirmations about how we'll be as parents. So the friendship connection has been amazing. And just overall, like, I don't feel pressured. Um, Someone asked me about like how has things changed, how are you preparing, um when will you come back to the real world, so to speak, or your new world. And for me, I'm like, okay, I could say 3 months because I feel like for people that sounds acceptable and that sounds like, okay, you're a good mom, you're taking 3 months. And my mom took 5 years off from working. That's not going to be me. Being connected to people is part of my DNA. It's part of how I survive and thrive. And I know that if I completely cut myself off from the world for 3 months, that is where my depression could definitely set in. So I'm not going to just, pop the baby out and the next day, get to work or anything like that. But as we get closer to like February, which would be about 2 months after, like I want to start dipping my toe back and going to the choir and singing with them. Like, granted, if she's, on a bottle by then, or maybe not, things, I'm flexible and I'm open, but I will say that I'm not going to be stuck in the house for 3 months or not communicating with people for 3 months because Adam gets drained by people, but I get fueled by people. And so, as much as I'm going to be giving, giving, giving to this baby, and, I'll be getting back in return, it's going to be a little different. I need my people. I need to feel connected. So, I don't know what it's going to be, but either way, I have no problem telling people, like, this is how I was before I got pregnant. Some people thought I would change. Oh, this is going to soften you. This is going to make you da da da. It's still me, just with little baby girl in the stomach. And lastly, the practical. So we've been working on the nursery. The nursery is in our room because our room is bigger than our office. And I don't know, even though it's not like she's going to come out and start walking, I just don't feel comfortable having her in a room with so many electronics and such. I also just don't feel comfortable with her being in another room at the beginning. So the nursery is in process. We actually got a free Dream on Me bassinet that we picked up, and I cleaned it all. And my best friend David ordered us a new mattress and sheets and all of that. So we're ready with the bassinet. I did tell him we may build the mini crib that my former life coach got us and put that in the office so that when we are back in there working, she can hang with us in there and just kind of have something in each room. So we have a 2-bedroom. So I figured if we have something more portable in the living room, a crib in the office, and the bassinet in the room, we're pretty set. We have Pampers for newborn 1 and 2. And then we just took gift cards after that because there's been instances where babies jump numbers. And if you haven't been on Facebook Marketplace for baby stuff, chef's kiss. I see baby diapers on there all the time. Plus, I don't know what diapers she'll like. And so we don't want to waste money on things that we're not sure are going to happen. So we have all the onesies we need all the way up into probably 6 months. Um, and they were given. We haven't really paid for anything for her. We have clothes for her up to 12 months. Like, it's kind of crazy what you find on Facebook Marketplace or what people are, willing to give you. There's plenty of blankets, toys. We've got bottles in the event that we finally get to the bottle feeding. So the last things we need to do is get her wallpaper up because I just wanted to kind of feel like she has her own little section. Get her wallpaper up. Get the blackout curtains because we live near a bank. And so if you've ever lived near a bank, or you've driven by a bank at night, they usually have the lights on, to make sure nobody's in there trying to rob the joint. So there's generally light always coming into our apartment. So we had to get blackout curtains just so that when she opens her eyes in the middle of the night and wants to go back to sleep, she's not kind of stimulated by everything that she sees. So nursery is coming together good. I do find myself in comparison with others, which is not healthy. Like watching this one girl who's like a DIYer and like built her house from scratch and has this like basically built her nursery. And I'm like, that's her ministry. That's her world. Baby girl's not going to remember any of this. She's just going to remember whether she was loved or not. So just trying to keep my focus on that when it comes to the nursery. And then for appointments, we just had an appointment last week where they confirmed baby girl's head is down, feet are up. Ay, ay. If y'all know that song, I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want to curse this morning, but she's doing her thing. She is flipping around. I guess it's not as much space as there usually is. So she's just kind of doing her thing and having a blast. I do have to go to a radiologist this week or next week to just double check because I have an anterior placenta, just making sure it's not too low, it's not in the way of the cervix. So we'll get that appointment next week. I also have to get my Tdap. I got my shot, flu shot, but now I have to get the Tdap. But I found out I had gotten it 3 years ago, but because I'm pregnant, they'd like me to get it again. So I went all the way to our hospital just to get a flu shot. So now when I go next week, I'll go get the Tdap. Adam is also up to date, but he's going to get one as well, but he won't be getting it until the day before our due date. It's a little scary. So we'll talk to the doctor about that next week and see what she says. And we have a lot of family coming, so they're all getting their shots and getting up to date and everything so that baby girl is fully protected. So we're good on appointments. We're still on every other week. And then starting in November, we start weekly. And then our final one is December 3rd, which I'm hoping we make it to because I'd love for my mom and dad to meet my OB. My doula came this past Sunday, which was really awesome. I got to meet her in person. She gave me a lovely gift basket, which was so sweet. We went over a lot of information. I think Adam and I's eyes were crossing because it was so much information, which I'm grateful for. It's all on paper, so I can go back to it. But it was nice to have her there and to go over things. And I even called her yesterday because I was like, girl, can you go over this whole shift thing at night? I'm not understanding because if I'm the one giving up the titty and I'm going to be hearing her crying, like how am I getting any sleep? Where is the shift happening? So we had really good conversation around that, and it gave some more clarity about shifts in general throughout the day of like who's in charge of taking Pepper out or the house and all the things. So she's been extremely helpful. I don't know how people do this without a doula. God bless you all that did this on your own, for real, your real ones. She has just been so helpful and knowledgeable, and I don't think I could have done it without her. And then finance-wise, Adam and I finally, after 8 years or so of being together, we got a joint account, even just to like, because yesterday we ran out of paper towels. I don't know about y'all, when I run out of paper towels, it's a scary sight. So we put an account together that we were like, let's just start with throwing $50 in there. And then every month we order everything that we would need for that month. That way we're constantly in supply and we're not needing to run out and get stuff. And we can also include baby girl's money in there because she got paid at these baby showers, okay? You know, the old school, they don't do gift cards really, and they don't really do registries. They drop cash and they drop checks. So she's got some money as well. I put $1,000 into a 529 for her and getting that started up. And in the event that she doesn't want to go to college, she can always turn it into, I believe, a Roth IRA or a 401k or something and have that for herself. So financially, we are doing well. We're supposed to get the 4th and 10th month off of our lease. That is this month coming up. But I looked this morning because I was putting in a maintenance request and I saw that they were charging us for next month. So we will be having conversations. But other than that, it's been great. I think I mentioned a while ago, I've been reading The Energy of Money. And while I haven't read, I'm probably not going to read the whole thing. It's already helped me in relaxing around this idea of like all this money that I need for this child and I need it right now. And I'm planning to go to grad school next year. And how am I going to have the money? And am I going to have to take out loans? And just kind of being this like, oh, damsel in broke distress. So yeah, I'm just not giving it that energy, because at the end of the day, babies will play with the most simple things, even though we think they need everything. They need love, attention, education, focus, and more love. And so I would say the last things that are still to do is creating my bag, my hospital bag. I've been watching a few videos on that and just taking notes of what I may need, what I definitely won't need, what I want that some people may not want. Even something like the hospital gown, like if I want to have my own, or if I just want to go with what they have, etc. Just automatic payments on our bills for the next few months, so I don't have to think about what day something is due and just kind of get caught up in all that craziness. Finishing up the nursery. We have one more baby shower to be virtual because I have a lot of clients. I do voiceover and I also teach voiceover, and I'm a life coach as well. And I have a lot of clients and friends who were not in New York, New Jersey, or California that want to celebrate me. So I just picked a group of 30 to celebrate with on Zoom mid-November. And that's about all we have left. And I wrote a little list of things that I'm excited about in the next few weeks. I think it's important to keep that in the forefront. Like, what do you have coming up that you're excited about? So, the first thing I'm excited about is it is the 20th anniversary of my, it's the 20th Delta versary for my sorority. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. For the last 20 years, I'm the ace of my line. There are 13 of us, and I think about 9 or 10 are coming to LA to celebrate our Deltaversary since I am pregnant. And I think that is just the sweetest and most sisterly thing. They're coming the weekend of the Brandy and Monica concert. So that's like a 2-for-1 special. I'm excited to spend time with them. I'm going to stay in the hotels with them. That way I'm just, kind of out of mama mode and wife mode and all the things, and I can get out and just have fun with my girls right before. So that'll be that first weekend in November as I'm starting to get into the nesting mode. So yeah, that Brandy Monica concert. I love Monica, but I'm a Brandy stan, always have been, always will be. So I'm super excited. And I also got to figure out what I'm going to wear, like put together a little outfit. I have a breastfeeding class coming up, which I've probably been to so many, but I feel like you can't ever just hear it enough, especially because these days it's going pew, pew. I have a baby basics class, which I've also done a bunch of times, but once again, pew, pew, it comes in and out. So looking forward to these classes. They're about 2.5 hours. I think they're in person too. At least one of them is in person. So I'll be going into the hospital to learn about that. I'm still waiting for us to take a tour of the hospital. Apparently there's a waiting list. I don't know why we can't all just get together and go, but I don't know, maybe so many births are happening. I don't know. I still need to go to the dentist. I have been having to do a deep clean. If you were following me during my between bodybuilding and baby days, I put a video where I was having a complete meltdown because they basically told me the space between my teeth was almost twice the size of normal and that my teeth could start falling out. So I had to do a super deep clean, and now I've been doing deeper cleans every 3 months. So I'll be getting one more, and then once baby girl is out, I will get a tooth that is that I had taken out. I will get a new one put in, but I obviously couldn't do that right now. I have a pelvic floor specialist appointment coming up. I did one with her where she really helped me, which I'm not doing very well right now, with posture and how to release the lower back and how to breathe from the diaphragm. So I'll be meeting with her hopefully 2 more times before the baby comes, just to understand my pelvic floor more, so that when it's time for birth, I have a better understanding of what I'm doing. And my last 2 things is Friendsgiving. We don't celebrate the other one. Friendsgiving. I always go to my girl Kina's house, and she makes me the best Watergate salad. I didn't even know what that was until 3 years ago. She changed my life. And every year I've either been bodybuilding or coming out of bodybuilding. This year I'm going to grub if I make it. That's a week before my due date. But I told her either way, if I end up having this baby, go ahead and make it, pack it, bring it on over, because that Watergate salad, it's like a pistachio, kind of creamy. I don't even know. Marshmallows. Oh, now that I won't have an aversion to at all. So I'm super excited for the Friendsgiving because this will probably be our 4th year with her family, and Adam always cooks something delicious. Or I think last time he made challah bread from scratch and it was a hit. So we'll probably do that again. And then lastly, I'm excited for my parents to come. They get here the day after Thanksgiving, the 28th through December 28th. And then Adam's family comes between, I want to say like the 20th and 26th. So that'll give us a nice little break in between where it's just my parents. We have a little break. No one's staying with us, to be clear. Let's get that out there. And then once Adam's family leaves, my friend Chanel is going to come at the end of January, top of February. So that'll give us a month as well. So I'm really excited and grateful for all the support. This has been a really, I wish I could knock on some wood right now, but I really feel like God is using me as an example for women who have chosen to wait or who have found themselves in a waiting season, who are older, who, feared not having kids, who feared the process of pregnancy. I would say if things took a turn for the crazy tomorrow, I am grateful for the 32 weeks of an easy pregnancy. I'll call it that. Some people don't want to hear that, especially if their pregnancy wasn't easy. I understand, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. And this has generally been a very easy process. It just honestly feels like I had bad digestion and it won't go down. Other than her moving, it's kind of weird sometimes. I just feel really, really, really fortunate. And I think it's just all the work I've done to my mind, body, and spirit before this that I think the medical world probably doesn't focus on, doesn't give attention to as much when they're advising women who are trying to get pregnant is like, what were you doing before? Because that can often determine a lot of factors of what's happening in the process. So thank y'all so much. If you made it this far, you know who you are, my people, Shantae, Dre, Miss Texas, Britt, all my people. I appreciate you. But if you're not one of them people and you also made it to the end of this, you're a real one. Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this style, where it probably won't be this long moving forward. But now that we're caught up on videos to more real time, I'll probably do some less topic specific and just do more of these so people know how I'm feeling as we get into these last few weeks. But don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe. You got to like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't make your girl beg. And I'm going to always say it. Age does not define your timeline. You do.